This episode of Fluid Power Forum is sponsored by IFP Motion Solutions Incorporated, the leader at engineering electronics into fluid power distribution. IFP spans the 13 central states from Minnesota to Texas. For more information, visit ifpusa.com.
Customers are focusing on live feedback. They want to know what's going on in their machines because they have to prevent downtime and catastrophic failure. That's the way that they can ingratiate customers to their brand instead of somebody else's,
Right.
making their life easier. So in the short term, we're going to see more and more sensors put into systems, whether they're on the pump, on valves, at more of the point of use, or, like I said, on the pump. There's a lot of different places you can put it, but we're going to see more sensors. What we're trying to support is taking the hydraulics industry from preventative maintenance to predictive maintenance.
Yeah. Welcome to Fluid Power Forum, a podcast of the National Fluid Power Association. I'm your host, Eric Lanke, and it's my job to interview interesting people who are moving fluid power technology forward. If you'd like to be part of the show, follow us on LinkedIn. We're there at the National Fluid Power Association. And make sure to share those interesting and innovative uses of fluid power with our hashtag, #OnlyFluidPowerCan. If you see an interesting application of fluid power and you want to learn more about it, share it on social media with that hashtag, #OnlyFluidPowerCan. And you just might hear it discussed on a future episode of Fluid Power Forum. Also, please subscribe to our show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and all the other popular podcatching services. Wherever you find us, go ahead and subscribe to the show, and then give us a quick rating. Those ratings really do help promote the show and allow more and more of our friends in the industry to join in on these important conversations. On today's show, my guest is Joe Beckman, the National Sales Manager at Casappa Corporation USA. Founded over 70 years ago, Casappa has a storied history of innovation in pumps, valves, and filtration, and is continuing that tradition today. Casappa recently presented at the Advanced Hydraulics Conference that NFPA hosted at the August 2025 IVT Expo trade show, and that presentation was to demonstrate a new onboard data digitization solution for hydraulic pumps. So we invited Joe into our forum today to learn more about that topic and lessons that can be learned in the industry more broadly. So Joe, welcome to Fluid Power Forum.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Data is such an interesting topic in the fluid power industry, and it's becoming so important in so many things. So I'm excited to learn more about your solution for hydraulic pumps. But I wonder if you can introduce yourself a little bit better than I just did to our listeners. What is your background?
Yeah, I live in Minnesota, born and bred in Minnesota. A lovely wife, Jenny, and 3 children, Griffin, Emmeline, and Mikey. I went to Hennepin Technical College in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, studied electronics, hydraulics, a couple of other industry mechanical things.
Uh-huh.
And I've been in hydraulics for 18 years and been with Casappa now for 13.
And you have a 2-year degree from Hennepin?
I do.
Yeah. In hydraulics, or what did you say?
Yes, in hydraulics. Well, I guess it's called fluid power.
Okay. Well, great.
Is what we would call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hennepin's a great school. So I'm sure you learned a lot when you were there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you said Casappa for 13 years. So what's your position there now?
Currently the national sales manager. When I got on board, I was a regional sales manager working with distribution and some smaller OEMs, and found that I really enjoyed working with OEMs, and we're a mobile company. So grew into that role as a key account manager, then briefly became the OEM sales manager, just sort of working on LTAs and strategic things for OEMs. And now I'm in the national sales manager role.
So you must have spent a lot of time out in the field seeing the machines themselves.
Yeah. You name the customer, I've had them, the OEM. I've been to their facilities, to their corporate facilities, their manufacturing facilities, testing in the field. It's a really, we work in a great industry.
That's great. Yeah. I agree, obviously. So it is a great industry. Tell us more about Casappa as a company. What exactly does it do?
So Casappa was founded in 1952 and established in the United States in 1993. What we do is we're a manufacturer of hydraulic gear pumps, gear motors for both cast iron and aluminum. And then we make piston pumps and we make valves and filtration. We've been making filtration since the 90s. We've been making piston pumps since the early 2000s and recently acquired a valve manufacturer that we're taking on in the future.
I didn't realize your filter business predated your pump business. Is that what I just heard you say?
Our filter business globally was in the late 90s, I think 97. Yeah. And Casappa Corp in the U.S. was established in 93. So
okay.
A little bit after we came to the U.S., yeah. But obviously gear pumps and motors started way back in 1952.
And you mentioned mobile. So are you serving mobile markets, and what kind exactly?
But we're very heavy in construction, also material handling. We do a lot in the ag market, but not as much as those. Being in the mobile market, really the focus of Casappa has always been making a heavily engineered, customized product, right? Providing a product that the customer specifically needs, not just saying, here's what you get, right. And really focusing on power density. So trying to make the product as compact as possible, but giving them both the efficiency and flow that they need.
And it's such a cooperative process, I'm assuming, that engineering process, to make sure the customer has the right product and the right features on the product, right?
Yeah, as we have our engineering group work with our customers, our engineers are working with their engineers, right? They're talking about their design ideas, and we're talking about our products, and then they're maybe changing their design ideas depending on the things that we bring to the table.
Absolutely. And data, I'm assuming, is a big part of that, and will continue to be. As I said at the intro, the presentation at IVT was all about your new data digitization solution. I'm still learning how to say that word, digitization, solution for hydraulic pumps. So tell us about that. Start, I guess, with the basics. What kind of data are we talking about?
So we focus on two different factors, and that is pump performance and fluid condition. So when it comes to pump performance, we want to collect the inlet pressure, the outlet pressure, the load sense pressure, the case strain pressure, and the swash plate angle. That's that bucket. And then on the other side, you have fluid condition. Now, in fluid condition, we want the case strain temperature, fluid oxidation, water concentration, and viscosity. And when you combine those two things and then send that data to the ECU, that's when it can be combined with other inputs from the system, and the OEM can start to formulate what they're going to do with that data.
Right. So is this all data that's being collected off of the pump itself through sensors? Yes. So there must be a lot of sensors on that thing then.
So yes, that's what we're talking about today, is incorporating the pumps and the sensors on the pump, right? Having them on the pump rather than in multiple other locations. And reliability and accuracy are going to be greater when you're collecting at the pump rather than remote locations.
Right. So that's part of the innovation that we're talking about here, is that it's all self-contained in the one unit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. And so then that data comes off of the pump and it goes to, what did you call it? The ECU?
An ECU. Yep.
And do you need a proprietary software then to interpret that information, or what does the OEM then do with that data?
So what we have two different versions at Casappa. So we have what we call the full, and by full we mean we offer everything. We offer the hardware of the pump, we offer the software that supports the pump and gives you readouts with our own algorithms, with our own testing behind it, so you can analyze what's happening inside your pump. Now, the big OEMs, they all have their own software. They don't want to switch from one competitor, one pump manufacturer to another, and keep switching software. It doesn't work. The only thing that they'll accept is small modifications to the software, just depending on how your product runs. So we offer what we call the easy, which means it's easy for the OEMs to use, meaning it's a plug and play option, right? We have the hardware, we have the sensors. Your software will be able to read it. You will be able to put it on your screen and output it to your user however you'd like.
Well, that sounds like a huge opportunity or a huge benefit for the OEM to be able to then use that data. Are there any use cases you can describe for, like, what's the best use of that information?
I think we're still in the investigation stage of like all the uses. I think the one that comes to my mind is specifically with a case drain pressure. So if you were to put a piston pump on a machine
Mhm.
that's already in production, right? You've already done all your designing and you send it out into the field and it comes back 4 months later and the piston pump is completely destroyed. Well, we'd evaluate it and we find out that the case pressure was too high. This is a very common occurrence with piston pumps. If the case pressure is too high, you can completely destroy your pump. With this pump, you would hook up the pump, you would start running your machine, and before you shipped that to the customer, you would get an indication saying your case pressure is too high. So even though the engineers and everybody designed it to not be high, whether it's a bad component someplace else, whether there's an issue with hosing, something is going on in the system that's making your case pressure too high. Now the pump is indicating to you that that pressure is too high for the level that you've set, and you need to fix it. Otherwise, your pump is going to have a reduced life.
And that's the kind of fix that can be done out in the field, or that has to be done before the machine's put in service?
So it can be done either. So if
Yeah.
something happens in the field where a change is made, you can run a diagnostic on it to make sure everything is how it's supposed to
I
be.
see.
The OEM could have indicators in their software that says if your case pressure gets this high, it needs to set off an alert. But mainly, OEMs want to keep their name. They want to have a credible, respectable name. So what it allows them to do is really look at exactly how the machine, how the pump and everything's interacting before they ship that to the customer.
Yeah. So is that like a preventative maintenance concept that allows them to do that?
Yeah, I mean that's where we're headed
Yeah.
with that, right? Is definitely supporting that initiative that the general mobile market has been walking down that road.
Well, they need to get every single joule of energy and work
Mhm.
productivity out of those machines, right? So anything that can keep that machine running more effectively is probably desirable in the market, I would assume.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way everything's headed, and that's why we're trying to provide products that support that agenda.
Yeah. We'll continue with the show in just a moment, but first let me share some exciting news about our Fluid Power Forum podcast. We're launching Fluid Power Forum Plus, a premium listener membership offering exclusive content and special event opportunities for our most dedicated listeners. When you sign up for free on the NFPA website, you'll be able to unlock exclusive episodes, live recordings, transcripts, and invitations to private networking events, each offering even greater insights into interesting and innovative applications of fluid power technology. The first of our special events is now being planned for the NFPA Technology Conference being held at the ConExpo ConAg Trade Show in March of 2026. Fluid Power Forum Plus members will receive discounted registration for the conference, plus an exclusive invitation to attend our live taping of the podcast there, and a members-only networking reception following that taping. This will be a huge opportunity to gain insights into the innovations happening in fluid power technology and to meet up with fellow listeners and build your network. And that's just the start. More exclusive benefits will be announced soon. To register, head over to nfpa.com/plus. That's nfpa.com/plus. So is this a new product that you're delivering, or has this been out in the market for a while?
I think other variations for other companies potentially, but an actual pump that has diagnostics on the pump, I have not seen, and it is new for us.
Yeah. I'm just curious about, if there are use cases that maybe are underutilized because people haven't found the opportunity to use it yet. What would you say to that?
Well, with it being new to us, I would say that all of them are probably underutilized at this moment. We don't know exactly all the places that we use it. We know that there's a benefit to taking the sensors off of multiple locations in the machine and putting them on a pump. And we don't know exactly what the potential is yet. It hasn't been realized.
Mm-hmm.
Casappa's trying to make it as easy as possible for the customer to take their own data and do something with it, right? We don't even know all the things that they want to do with it, but at least have it there so they can do something with it. So this is our step to support that. Definitely on the hardware side. Again, we have our own proprietary software, but on the hardware side, I think on the software side, though, the thing that's underutilized because it isn't fully implemented yet is AI is going to get involved in the software of this of pump data, machine
Yeah.
data, valve data, filter data, and the doors are going to get blown wide open.
Yeah. You know, Joe, I think you're the third podcast guest I've spoken to recently who has brought this AI subject up, that it's coming, that we're going to use it more effectively in the fluid power industry or in the OEM industry to be smarter about how we're using these products. So you're seeing that trend coming as well?
Yeah, I think, and it's not that AI can figure something out that we can't, or we would get there, right?
Yeah.
Engineers would get there, companies would get there. AI can process data, can analyze information, and compare data so fast that it can give us an answer that it would take us much longer to get to. So once
Right.
you unload a data program into something like a machine that has a bunch of sensors and all the different cases of preventative maintenance, it'll spit out answers that we just can't get to as fast.
Right. So I think you said earlier, if I heard you right, that this was a variable displacement piston pump that these sensors are on?
Yeah, that's correct. It's a mobile variable displacement piston pump. Correct.
Do you have this technology available for other kinds of pumps, or would that not be as applicable?
I think that's more of an investigation. I mean, as a pump manufacturer, we can see what it would look like, right? We can picture what it would look like for a gear pump to collect all of this data as well. The problem is the price of the product for a gear pump is very low, and it doesn't justify the investment that this would take with all of the sensors and all of the technology. I would say if you're asking where it could go, Casappa has a big e-hydraulics theme right now, and that's what this fits under.
Sure.
On the gear pump side, the e-hydraulics theme is more of the variable frequency drive application and how that widens the operating ranges of the gear pumps. I could see this being utilized in that application where your gear pump is doing a lot more than it used to do, and you might need to understand what's happening better in the system. It also makes it possible because then once you have that with an electric motor and that's your value package, that's a lot higher of an investment, and it might justify the cost of this.
That's an interesting angle I hadn't thought about before, that, the price differential, if you will, of putting this technology on the product has to be at a certain threshold in order for the market to accept it, if I'm hearing you describe that correctly.
It's one of the factors, right? A piston pump inherently is smarter.
Yeah.
Right? It does more things.
Right.
So it's going to be the first place that you add more technology. But the price point, because of the technology in it, it's gonna walk you down that road.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what do you see as kind of the near-term future for the application of this technology?
I mean, we've circled it, but the answer is, customers are focusing on live feedback. They want to know what's going on in their machines because they have to prevent downtime and catastrophic failure. That's the way that they can ingratiate customers to their brand instead of somebody else's,
Right.
making their life easier. So in the short term, we're going to see more and more sensors put into systems, whether they're on the pump, on valves, at more of the point of use, or, like I said, on the pump. There's a lot of different places you can put it, but we're going to see more sensors. People want to know what's happening. The one that I think is very interesting when we talk about Casappa products is filtration, because as this technology moves further and further with filtration, you can sort of have a constant, we'll say, quote unquote, blood test to support your system health, right? So you can see things like element change indications and even contamination surge warnings. So yes, okay, you're supposed to change your filter. The book said I'm supposed to change my filter every 9 months. Well,
Right.
What if your system tells you that it's been on there for 9 months and you don't need to change it?
Right.
What if your system tells you that it's been on for 3 months and you do need to change it? What we're trying to support is taking the hydraulics industry from preventative maintenance to predictive maintenance.
Yeah.
That's the direction we keep trying to go at Casappa. And again, just to circle back to the AI, that's all the hardware side. The software side, it's AI. I mean, the answer is AI. AI is going to be added more and more to the software of all of these manufacturers' machines, and that'll be really interesting to see where it goes. And the thing that Casappa is trying to do, we joke about it here a little bit, but our Casappa product is ready to feed the AI beast, right? Like that's the direction we're headed.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really the artificial intelligence that is going to be able to crunch the numbers, right? I mean, you get so much data off of these products when you enable it in the way that you've described. that you really need something like AI to interpret it all. Is that right?
No, I agree with you 100%. It's you would need so many people combing through this, so many different things, and then being able to communicate it perfectly. AI can do it better than any other option we have right now.
Well, that's great. Well, Joe, is there anything else you want to tell us about the product before we close out here?
I mean, I think we covered it all. The point is Casappa is just trying to follow these trends and support our mobile OEMs is the best we can.
Great. All right. Well, that is going to wrap things up then for this episode of Fluid Power Forum. My thanks to Joe Beckman of Casappa, who has been my guest on the show. If you want to connect with Joe, you can do that by dropping him an email, and we will put a link to his email address in the show notes for this episode. Remember, if you like our podcast, and we hope you do, please follow us on LinkedIn. You'll find us there at the National Fluid Power Association. And make sure to keep sharing those interesting and innovative uses of fluid power with our hashtag #OnlyFluidPowerCan. It's a great way to let us know about the kind of topics you'd like to hear talked about on the show. Fluid Power Forum is a podcast of the National Fluid Power Association. I'm your host, Eric Lanke, reminding you to join us next time in the forum.